This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your live market chat for noon, Thursday, August 17th, 2023. Starting a little early. Let people funnel in. No rush to start. Kind of a couple minutes early. Just wanted to chat, and if the people in the Discord room are listening or check this later, have a lot of conversation to follow up with. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about, a bounce, market's going to dump, market's going to bounce, yada, yada, yada. Now, again, if this was any other week, I probably wouldn't give two craps to the noise, but it is options expiration, and people just got to keep that in mind. The odds, again, sipping on a smoothie, the odds of a bounce the last 2 days after the earlier week down is strong, very strong. You got Jackson Hole next week. You got NVIDIA earnings next week. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know for sure that they're going to create some sort of bullish narrative to rip the market into such, but I would not be surprised. Hence why some of the bearish ETFs I own, some of the stocks that I am short, I've hedged or taken a little bit of profits on. Not surprising. Amazon going green here. Watching Google hold up pretty well. I mean, Taiwan Semi. I mean, it looks like it's just AMD that's in Netflix. Man, Roblox is crap. Apple getting that pin action to around 175. Again, I mean, I hope people are listening. I'm gonna post this in the Discord room. I'm talking about this topic right now live. So, and I hope this helps. I mean, a lot of people, and I think in their minds, create a narrative. We all do. No one's immune from it, right? No one's immune. There's narratives in your brain. There's narratives in your thoughts. There's narratives in your belief systems. You name it. Everybody's got thoughts, beliefs, anything. Yeah, come on in, Boozer. And if you guys don't mind sharing, please share on social media. I don't mind. I'd love to get more people. The more people, the better chatting in here, because then I can really go through a ton of the questions that people have. Because I think a lot of folks in general, I think they just have these rigid belief systems when it comes to trading, which discipline is the only thing you need to be rigid about. That's how I look at it. But if you're going to be rigid about what's going on in the market day to day, that's where it just gets a little tricky. As you might imagine. So, all right. Just letting people funnel in. No rush to really jump into it deeply. If anyone's listening at this point and can, hit a mic check 1 2 1 2. What is this? God, First Solar. What a piece of crap. Mic is good. Cool. I'm just laughing. I mean, some people had people reaching out going, do you not realize First Solar is the leader of the solar patch? It's going to hold up really well, Dan. I wouldn't short it. I'm like, just you saying such gives me faith that it's going to get absolutely destroyed, because a lot of retail folks who talk this game, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They literally don't. No freaking clue what they're talking about. And it's not trying to be critical. It's just the reality of it. Noon we'll be here in a couple minutes again. If you have any questions, you want to ask them now, go right ahead. I mean, people are like, what are you watching? I'm watching Apple, watching the SPYs. I'm watching how certain names are catching up. I see how oil's holding up decently well today. I'm watching the HYG. I'm watching solar get crushed. I'm watching financials hold levels. Keeping it pretty simple, stupid, if that makes sense. So, see what else is going on in the Discord room. Anyone get any other comments? Flash crash. Yeah, I mean, a flash crash during the options expiration, that would be impressive. You typically get it more during end of the month, beginning of the month, or around data or rumors. Right now, I don't know if there's a rumor out there that would create a flash crash. Maybe the idea that China is going to fall apart. at any point. I mean, let's call it what it is. If this is a Cold War, domestic versus foreign interest, I would not, that to me would be a very likely scenario. China falls apart. Anyone see their unemployment rate for people under 25? I think it's 22% now, something like that. It's still rising. Still rising. All right, here we go. SPY about to go green. Maybe. What about the Fitch bank downgrade rumor? Could come out of nowhere. The Fitch bank rumor, I would agree, could come out of nowhere. I've read that headline too, and I mean, I think it's just a matter of when, not if. But if I'm the market makers and I really want to like manipulate the market to the best of my capacities, I would probably let that ride next week or sooner. You know, remember the bang for their buck. They're gonna probably want to do when banks are down more because then it'll look more logical. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if people don't remember this is that Labor Day. There's not a lot of people around now. People go on vacation, they come back Labor Day. If I am going to try to get the most bang for my buck, I'm trying to get the most people. I'd rather see the market, if I was them, kind of rise into Jackson Hole, dump, and then people buy the dip going into Labor Day. They always do, or the Labor Day, and then come out afterwards and drop the Fitch bomb. That's what I was thinking. That's kind of how my narrative of how I've seen them manipulate markets before would play out. So, good question. Great question. Getting used to my new office setup. I've been on the move. A lot of y'all know what's going on in my life. It's a little hectic. Trolls talk junk. People who know what's going on are like, yeah, shit happens. All right, it is nooner. So again, if you're new to the channel, you want to join the Discord room, links in the description below. I'll just drop a link in the chat. Feel free to come on in. Again, if you're here to learn, great. If you're here to coach people, that's one of the things that I really struggle with is that a lot of people, when it comes to trading, think they know a lot. Okay, that's fine. But if you're going to come into the Discord room and you want to like kind of preach some of the things you're doing, I think it's kind of a waste of time. Be there to learn, right? Be open. Be open-minded. Be thoughtful to the fact that this isn't your Discord room. This isn't your place of teaching. Listen, again, I don't go to a Tony Robbins seminar and just start blurting out shit when I could jump, I mean, think of it. It's literally that simple. So I appreciate all the feedback, the comments, the people who've been around. And again, respect is earned. Respect is earned. Patience. Follow us on Twitter. As always, so much going on. And if people ask, like, what are the best follows on Twitter for you? Just go to my account. Go check out who I'm following. Those are, some of the people, the accounts. And again, once you start playing around on Twitter and start searching stuff, they're pretty good about giving you the people to follow that are similar as well. YouTube, trading website, blah, blah, blah. Fed watch tool. Again, I like to refresh this every time we start a recap. I mean, it's going to be PAAS City, probably in the 80. Okay, it's down just a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've heard a lot of rumors of the Fed's raising rates, right? At the September meeting, I don't know where that's coming from. And again, I mean, I don't know why and how that rumor is being manufactured, but the Fed Fund futures to me is like the casino, knowing the odds on the over-under on teams football wins this season and the spreads and everything. Like, there's a lot of information that goes into this number. And for the Fed Fund futures to show such the probabilities of 87% of a pause, yet the media is pushing a narrative of a raise coming up in September, I don't see it. As of right now, the data is not really suggesting such. So That's a topic. Bitcoin, rut row. Some folks in Discord room were talking about it. Holly was like, "Uh-oh, broke 29,000." Yeah. Now, near term, let's just draw some fibs. Let's just play on Bitcoin. Again, I'm not really a big fan of TradingView, but I don't have Bitcoin futures on eSignal. Okay. 0.382, 0.5, 0.618. Yeah, seems that the fibs are lining up with support resistance potentially. Like, you got to say, this is a support zone. Support here. Support at the 50. Yeah. 0.786 for sure. So, at this point, again, I don't know if Bitcoin's the market. That's the one thing, again, I struggle with, because I think Bitcoin, like gold, they can have their own outside moves and they can do their own thing. The crypto game is such a, I don't know, what's the right way to describe it? 99% of the crypto is trash, right? Most of the volume is in Bitcoin. The other is just speculative chasing other crap. So at this point, seeing Bitcoin break, whatever. Again, jump in if you have any questions, just kind of reviewing thing. Oil, I'm not surprised. Said this in the daily review. Wouldn't be surprised if we held the 80, 79 area. Doink. Here we go. Now maybe it's just a couple day move up to the mid 82s, but I think oil's going lower. Natty gas stuck in the mud. Can we just all agree that natural gas, if you like it, you like pain? SPY. Posted this in the recap yesterday. I thought yesterday's candle would be a trap candle because it's OPEX. Here you go. Here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not Saturday, Sunday, but you know what I mean. I think we're going to get back. And so one of the things I talked about in the daily review is, when you break the 20-day, you typically check back to it at some point, right? You break, you check back to it. And usually you check back to it as it's curling down, especially on the SPY. Is this clear? Clear as mud, clear as day, clear as crap, whatever you want to make the joke. Here's the 20-day curling down. Would it surprise anybody if we tested 447, 450? I don't know. I don't know if we get to 450. That'd be strong, but 445 plus at some point as a curl back, test back. Again, everyone getting bearish again. And now this is the thing. The hardest part about trading is the day-to-day. Because if this is a 10-minute candle, you wouldn't give a shit. Remember that. You wouldn't be like, oh, it's just because it takes so long to form, and the time that gets filled between gets real confusing. So checking back to the 20 at some point, right? You expect it? I do. I believe in it, right? Just be thoughtful. Just be thoughtful. 20 day, 50 day, 443. I mean, honestly, went from 460 down to 440. I mean, it's not that fast of a move. Trying to think of, August. Again, the seasonality of August. Check it out. I mean, I wouldn't test this. This August had the top on the mid. Here was the check back again, post OPEX. You see, I mean, when people ask questions, they go, hey, what do you think of this? I'm always like, just take some time to check back. Here is an OPEX drop followed by a rally in August. August, I guess that was one of the stronger Augusts you've ever seen. Again, August, rallied into September. Yep, I mean, it's one of those things. I don't expect an absolute meltdown unless the news gets worse. Now, people, always joke, it's like, hey, the news is bad, when's the market going to dump? And it's like, well, if I knew that answer, I'd be a billionaire. You just don't know all the time. So I hope this helps. I mean, trying to keep it really simple. There will be a check back to the 20-day. Just a matter of if. When, not if. That's my opinion. Qs been lagging. I don't know if I would really jump on tech. But tech should rally. I would think the 50-day, 20-day convergence might give you a nice little spot. People are asking me about TLT, and it's like, you know what? All right, yeah. I mean, this is the hardest thing about choppy-toppy TLT action. Now we're retesting some of this action. And if you're buying bonds, hopefully you're not sitting here like trying to trade them. You're just trying to collect some yield and relax and try not to overthink the market. Like I would try to keep it that simple. If you own bonds, government debt, I mean, I think it's a good area. I think it makes sense. Absolute sense. Right? Doing a little ad again. Again, people are like, oh, you need to try to be more legit. I'm like, all right, yeah, well, whatever. I'll throw an ad here every once in a while if I think about it. Point being, filling the gap, going a little lower, 3-gap trap, rally. Now we're oversold again. I mean, could the TLT rally in near term just give pause for the market? That's how I would look at it. Where are we at on the SPY? Oh, getting back down to 4. Okay, near the low of the day. Let's pull it up again. Let me pull up some 10-minute. Oh, okay. Interesting. Are you guys familiar with tweezer formations? They call them railroad tracks sometimes. Again, it's not an exact science. But sometimes what you like to see, you see on the 10-minute is like these candles of exact size kind of peaking next to each other or close to each other at inflection points. And usually, you know, they have wicks. They're a little longer. Man, some of these candles last week were pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, the VIX was a little higher. Just check this out real quick, right? We got the VIX on the 10-minute. Again, I don't really watch the 10-minute, but here we go. I was looking at the VIX just a minute ago on another screen. Look at this. High end of range. Is the market about to break down? I'd be willing to bet by I mean, honestly, I put my money where my mouth is. I took some profits on some things and also hedged some things. The odds of the VIX breaking out. Do you believe the VIX is going to break out today? During options expiration, with everything you've ever been taught, if you've been following the show, is the VIX and the market going to melt down today? I mean, this might be the lunch special. And again, there's always a joke or a name for everything in the market. Man, look at that rally right back. Check this out on the 10. I mean, I'd love to be wrong here for bears, but I think we're about to have this is the lunch shakeout. Retest the lows of yesterday. After the close, you had a little SPY, a little wick. We'll see. Yeah, I'm impressed that we went out of the channel, but that's again, this move to me, not surprising. I honestly didn't think we would check back. So that's where, again, note to self, you can be wrong. I didn't think we'd retest. But why not? And that's the thing. Like, if you can, imprint in your brain, I don't know if you want to get a tattoo of this tattooed to your forehead of this, but the word is retest. Retest. That's why when I always tell people, layer in, the first entry, as much as I'd like to tell you that is the best time to get in, it's probably not. That's the reality of trading. That's why selling options to me is just way better than buying calls and puts. Or if you feel so obliged to buy options, most of y'all know, wait for the retest, because then the IV is going to come down. The implied volatility, right, is down because you're retesting. The volatility by nature on a retest is being sucked out. Does this make sense? So the options here, were more expensive, they would be here, right? Essentially. And the keep it simple, stupid seminar of seminary, whatever. That's what it is. Dollar. Just a lot of little things checking out. Are we going to break out? I highly doubt it. I mean, we're coming up against some resistance in a straight line. I mean, this has been resistance every single time. Again, if it was me, again, I'm trying to screw over the most amount of people, I would pull it back to some 20-day action. Let it backfill, maybe back test this trend line, maybe the confluence of all this right around here. Around here. And it might line up, yeah, exactly, with early September. Then fucking rip shred. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? I mean, look at Apple. You know, we talk about pin action. I don't know about you guys, but take 3 seconds to go check the options chain, and someone can confirm this if it's changed or not. I would anticipate a lot of people are buying Apple puts today. Apple puts on the Thursday of options expiration, trying to get rich, thinking that Apple's going to tank. I'd be genuinely curious to see it hold. And I said watch the 175 area, but then it's like, oh, it goes to 173.83. It must be about to break down and dump. I would think of it as in the example of a rubber band being stretched. The more they stretch it, the more the snapback. Does this make sense? Any question about that? That makes sense? Yeah. Yeah, way more puts than calls. I don't need to pull up the chain to look at it. But here we go. Apple be a building. Apple be a building off the lows. Yeah, Ryan, I'm glad you're a part of this. You got any questions? Again, like I think, yeah, 69,000. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if someone can pull up again, I just don't have time to go through all of that stuff. But again, ask questions. I think a lot of people sometimes think that in trading, this is why engineers, type A people like myself, at first, when we start trading, like accountants, like people like very rigid, like rules, rigidity, they get really locked into like, what is the key to success? And the hardest thing about trading is mentally, you have to be flexible. Like that's the hardest part. You got to be able to acknowledge like, ooh, my intuition is telling me something that doesn't make sense. Like if I was bearish here, I'd be like, why is the market not absolutely dumping? All right. Like the headlines are so bad, right? Which again, I mean, no one, it's not surprised. Like we know the market, the economy is not strong. Even my buddy Sam was talking in the real estate chat room. Like, yeah, builders are offering tons of incentives. I mean, I actually have builders calling me, which is, they must be real bad. Speaking of real estate, let me talk about that, because for real estate agents to search out, for builders to call real estate agents to see if they have interested buyers, what does that tell you? You guys are smart as shit. I know that. And so that's why I'm like rhetorically asking, like people ask about the markets. I'm like, it is not good. And that's why, I was saying this months ago. If you want to buy real estate, please be patient. Wait till the fall. Wait till this winter. Rates, will peak. The economy will start waking up to the slide action. The rates will drop, but when the rates drop, it's because there's going to be a ton of fear. If you're looking to buy real estate, that's going to be the time. Yeah. The housing market... The affordability at these rates is just not possible. And the rents are going higher. That's one thing that's kind of wild. I always tell people, like, when people aren't buying, they're renting. Rents have held up pretty well. It's just the problem that I don't like is that if you try to squeeze every penny out of a tenant, don't be surprised when they destroy your home. Make them feel like they're getting a deal. TLT, let's watch the 10 minute. I'm just curious again. I just want to flip through some 10 minutes here. I love the 10-minute chart. I honestly like the hourly as well this time of year. VIX, I mean, I think the VIX is done. Gold. Where are all my gold bugs? Can I get one of the, I'd love for a troll on the gold. Because again, I mean, as somebody who's been trading gold forever, I know gold. Like, this is not the time to buy it. Yeah, your kids are never going to be able to move out of this environment. No, I mean, no, they will. It's just inflation and wages are going to have to readjust. People talk a civil war is coming. Oh, SPY going green. No way. Not surprising. We'll see. I mean, I think there is a civil war coming of mental proportion. Hopefully there's not going to be fighting. I feel like there needs to be dialogue about some of the stupidity in the economy and people running the country. That's, to me, something that needs to be dialogued, right? Like when, I mean, how many people have been seeing some of the congressmen buying puts and shorting? It's funny. I wouldn't be buying any gold, not even in 2 months. Eric, are you here? December, every year. Here's your bottom. Here's your chop. The best time is going to be on some sort of December pullback. Now, we didn't get a huge one last year, but I'm always the fan of the December pullback. The December bottom in gold. It is free money every year. December pullback. Even if, I mean, again, I don't know how high gold's going to go until the Feds pivot. I mean, are the Feds in the pivot point? That's the tough thing. I mean, you go December. Yeah. Like, I just wouldn't be buying gold. I just wouldn't be buying it. Did Venmo? Oh, yes, Danny, I got it. Thank you. I think, yes, $100. Again, sometimes I don't know everybody's names, and I appreciate that, man. And I always tell people, like, I don't care if you pay me or not. I still will do this anyway, but I appreciate it, you know. And the people who, if you're in the Discord room, let me know what your name is. Sometimes people handle the difference. When people donate generously, I start following up on them, and I ask them more questions for help too, because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Like attracts like. If you're generous with your time and your money to help out the channel, I mean, why wouldn't I offer and ask questions for people? Because I think sometimes this is the thing within the trading community is that everybody kind of feels alone, but then everybody follows the noise. And so in reality, the people who've donated, I check on them. I always check on them. How you doing? What's going on? What's happening? How's your trading? Because again, it's like in life, there's seasons, cyclicality to your trading. And a lot of it has to do with your mindset. Like if you're in a bad place mentally, like, you know, a lot of people know for the last couple, you know, I would say, I don't know, some of June and July, I didn't trade a ton. I've been going through separation stuff with my wife. She's, again, long story short, she's a woman. Love her to death. But communication, which ironically led to some issues that I didn't even realize were going on. And not like going on like as in major problems, but just unhappiness. And then she flipped a switch. And then as normal in relationships, when someone makes up their mind to something, I'm like, whoa. Give me a couple months to figure out what's going on. You need to be completely transparent. And so that was a struggle mentally for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to trade a ton here. I don't want to feel like it's like going to the casino when you're struggling mentally or you're low on money, you know, say like, you know, you see people like, oh, I'm going to try to go to the casino to win my money back. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. I mean, that's what the market can be a casino. We all know that. So And ironically, right now, that's one of the things people to know, that I'm living in one of our investment properties as a separation, and the whole purpose is for both of us to work on ourselves, relationship wise. I always love telling people this. I talked to Lee for like an hour yesterday about the coaching and stuff that I learned about myself. I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, and if they want, I can change. Like, I'll keep talking about it. I'll give you a few examples of where I failed in my marriage stuff. If not, I'll go back to trading. But, and again, a lot of these things within relationships are communication issues. I'll tell you my one issue, and maybe someone else can share, has a similar issue to this. Yep, we're almost retesting 440. Short it? No, no, we're about to rally, my friend. No, I would not be shorting any market stuff right now. Absolutely not. No, it's OPEX. Nope. Don't short. Do not short. Early week down, late week up. They're going to kill the VIX. I wouldn't short. No. Nope. No way. No. You just can't do it. Because again, all the puts that got bought, the key for, and again, if anything, I'd be going long for a trade or sold puts. Like, that was probably the easiest money trade. But yeah, been through it. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have been through marital issues. We both love each other. Everything's going to work out, in my opinion. I think the one thing, and you'd be definitely chasing the lows. But again, if you're day trading, it's a little different. I mean, I'm like torn here because I want to tell people the story about relationship stuff, because I think it's rather interesting, and maybe some of you folks have been through it. Remember, I was just literally saying selling puts for sure was the easiest trade. Talked about the railroad tracks at inflection points, where on the 10-minute, like, the candle bars are like similar length, height, whatever, and different color. There you go. I mean, I said that, I think 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. A lot of guys, I know I'm talking to you guys if you're listening, we have what's called abandonment issues. I didn't even realize it. And one thing that I've always done, Apple's turning. The story is that, again, I grew up in a family where men do not speak about their feelings. If I'm not happy with my wife, my dad wasn't happy, bury it. We don't talk about this shit. And so then it creates repressed emotions and reactions that lead to miscommunications and disagreements and all that shit. And so the abandonment issue is literally that you don't know how, like, as soon as I feel like I'm not being appreciated, understood, I go real quiet. Man, look at this green candle grow. Green money, free money. And so you have to acknowledge that sometimes with guys. It's amazing because I'm really good at acknowledging my emotions and trading, but never in relationships. Never been very good at it. If a woman pisses me off, I just, whatever, ignore. But not dealing with it, that's a problem. Because then you build up resentments. You'll say things you don't mean to say. Or, it's kind of like, how like people, when they make the same mistakes over and over and over and over in trading, they'll blow up their account because they don't learn. Well, it's the same thing within relationships. If you're not getting back to a loving common ground, because sometimes your wife or spouse will say something that it's just their emotions, and it wasn't meant to piss you off, but you choose to get mad. So, oh yeah, women are emotional, men are logical. It's really that simple. My husband and I got time apart for 2 years when I had to work at North Prison. We saw each other twice a month, actually, Mayor. Yeah, Shannon, so I'm glad you acknowledged that and said that. That's like kind of the goal we're going through. It's no different in trading. I'm telling you right now, the best times to learn are in solitude. When you're struggling in trading, to me, solitude is getting back to the basics. It's not trading. It's going through things, digging in and why you made mistakes. Same thing with your relationship. Same thing with anything in life. If you can do that, you'll learn and grow. Because there's going to be times in trading where you're just like, why the fuck can't I win? Well, are you fighting the trend, right? Is it a directionless market, right? Is the market waiting for something before it moves? Like, there's all these little things that, again, I could talk about hours about why, like taking breaks and learning certain commodities, how they act seasonally, seasonality and things. Shannon, yes, time apart will be good. I mean, I'm in my bachelor party. Yep, we already miss each other. Again, it's a weird thing, but we luckily have the financial capability to do this, where I will live 6 months in my sweet little investment property that I bought a couple 6 months ago. You guys seen some of the pictures. Yeah, I'm just hanging out. I don't know if I'm going to get a roommate or not. Kind of want one. Not that I need one, but it's kind of boring sometimes by yourself. All right, back to trading. Green boner candle. You're welcome. Thank God, Danny, you did not short 440. Because here was your inflection point. Back to trading. Sorry. Again, the relationship stuff, man, I'm telling you, and the reason why I talk about it, and I'll end it there, is that your relationship with yourself is the key to all of the things that you interpret in your life, whether it's your family, your wife, your job, trading. How you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, and confidence matter like a motherfucker when it comes to trading. Same thing, right? When you don't have confidence in trading, your self-esteem's low. I make the joke, but that's the truth. I'm telling you, it all relates. Confidence, understanding, competence. Yep, here we go. All right, so it's OPEX. We were right. And I don't know if people tuned in earlier. I said, wait for the lunch special. I mean, or not wait for it. We're probably during the lunch special when we're about to rally. There's a reason why I wanted to do this video at this time, because I thought this would probably might happen. Now, again, how much higher can we go? I would keep an eye on the fruit. I would really keep an eye on the fruit. The fruit has soured, right? Sour apple. Sour green apple. Right? This zone here, I've got drawn. And you're like, what does that come from? Look, it's old highs. It's old highs. I mean, the fruit goes from 198 down to 174. I know it's not a ton, but you hear like, oh, it's oversold. Okay. Well, again, I don't really give a shit about oversold, overbought, but I do acknowledge it as a realistic thing. Come on, Google. What are you doing? Google's the one that's killing me. Got some short in this that's just like waiting to exhale. But, I mean, it's very distributive. This is a novice gap trap. It's just a matter of when. And it's like, oh, it's breaking this little flag, so maybe it goes back to 133. Again, if Lee's listening to this, man, I don't really plug a lot of people's stuff. I like books. But Josh Hudson, Marriage Mastery, that guy's course, man, I spent a lot of money to figure out why I have recurring patterns in relationships. Amazing. Sometimes, again, that's what coaching is good for. Everyone has life coaches. I don't know. I just like being a free trading coach. I don't give a shit because I'm going to do this stuff whether you're not. And people are like, oh, you're going to manage money again? It's like, hell no. Managing money is like managing people's emotions. It's harder than therapy because how you feel about yourself and the market and all the shit going on in the world and how you interpret the news and what you read, it is a fucking nightmare. Again, I'm not going to tell you to go long Tesla here, but I mean, we're at levels to me that make, again, this is where I'm not saying the market's about to rip to new highs. I don't have that kind of belief structure here, but I'd be willing to bet there's a bounce. And we've talked about first drop, we'll test the 20-day at some point. I mean, yeah, this Tesla level, fanboys, fangirls, fandos. I mean, would you be surprised if Tesla gets back into this like 240 area? No. Go, SPY, go. Yeah, I mean, it's the hard part's over. Pick the bottom, the lunch special. I'm here to just listen now. If you guys got questions and thoughts, I can give you some insights. Again, I personally think, as much as I think NVIDIA is going to get beaten at some point, hitting the 20-day, curling down, going into earnings. This one's really tough because you've got tons of headlines behind it. What I would like to see is the market rally in the laggards. Is everybody familiar with why the trash floats last? Is this a topic I've talked about recently? I haven't really talked about it recently, but maybe some people need to hear about it. Yeah, again, not a fan. See, this is the thing about fandom, right? Like, you can talk yourself out of a trade, and I've done this too. I mean, it's just, if I was short this, I'd be going, well, shit, I probably need to take some profits. Bottom line. But the trash usually floats last because it gets beaten, right? And so what I'd like to see is like financials here probably hold this level. Some of these names that have gotten smoked. Like, here's AMD. How many times have we said, watch AMD coming into this like 100-day? I mean, might as well just bring the box down to that 0.382. And then bounce. And this name will bounce. Maybe it'll bounce 10 points. But then you'll see like NVIDIA kind of go nowhere. I'm hoping Google gets stuck. You know, obviously gold's going to go nowhere. But does this make sense? Like, money is going to rotate around and it's going to try to look for deals. But nobody's really that excited about the market, and they don't want to buy the things that are up a ton. And so that's where sometimes the trash floats last. That saying comes from, is that before a major move down, the trash will float up last because people will be like, oh, well, everything's going to be okay near term. But they don't want to buy the stuff that's all at the highs because it's overbought. Like, that's kind of where the narrative, but they're going to look at, I mean, again, there's probably, if I go to stock twits, I mean, what's the trending stock right now? Let's just curious. It's probably going to be Apple, but what's the trash name? Damn, it's Apple, AMD, ARK, Bitcoin. There's no trash names. Interesting. Oh, that's my watch list. Shit. Let me go to stock twits. Let's see. What is trending? Bitcoin, Riot, Mara. I mean, it's a bunch of stupid Bitcoin crap. Someone dropped me a CCL. Good old Carnival Cruise. Let's look that up. No, it's not floating. Remember when, who was it? We were in the Discord room. Somebody was like talking about the stock going higher. And we are like, yeah, I mean, at some point it'll float up but we're like, is this what you really want to buy for the long term? Carnival Cruise Lines? Oh, it's going back into 50s. Probably not. Maybe it does. I mean, this is just a busted ass chart. Busted. That's right, Cisco. Thank you. Thank you, Cisco. What did it gap up today? Yeah. I mean, man, good old the Cisco. It's a little curious here that it's breaking out of this like ascending channel. That's where I'd like to see the blow off top. Maybe it gets up into the 58. But again, we'll see. Neither here nor there. All right, SPY chopping around. Let's go back. Again, unless there's something really juicy, I'm just going to be watching the SPY. Kind of want to check out the hourly. Let's get back to the hourly. All right, so this candle was the close yesterday. Here's the big volume. Somebody had to accumulate that down here. It's not catch the falling knife, right? And look what happened previously, right? You get the rally back, right? You didn't get much one here. But tend to be, if you get the distribution, somebody's got to unload it at higher prices. I know seems obvious, but a lot of people don't think this. They don't understand the market is a liquidity mechanism. And along the way of building in a short position, the market makers can use that short to squeeze. And say they have to take on some of the longs, well, then they get their squeeze on. Make sense? Makes sense. The market makers, short. They use their ability to short to squeeze the market, but then if they have to accumulate positions that they need to mark up, they'll do that and then sell along the way. So if they're buying in this area, right, you can see there's a little bit of volume. I mean, there's probably going to be some ability to unload in the 445, 46 area. That's my guess. Will it happen today? If it happened today, that would make things a lot harder. Because going into J hole, I don't know. I just don't know, Captain. At this point, microtrading looks like shit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And when I say I don't know, it's because I don't know how it's going to play out from point A to point B. That is always the struggle. You can have a plan or a thought of how something's going to play out, but it's just, is it going to happen in the way you think it's going to happen? Does this make sense? Like, how many people, you can watch an hourly chart and you're like, so there's the high, right? Blow off, novice gap, trap. How many people you think were like, oh, I'm going to re-short up at the high? And then it played out over the course of a couple hours, days. I mean, they're like, break, 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 break. Doesn't break. This is why I'm like, if you're selling puts down here or buying down here, I mean, as long as you're defining your risk, it's not a bad deal. In my opinion. That's where it's like, I would be taking longs here just for the options expiration early next week. Just curious, what's the stock trader Almanac got? Bull on Tuesday. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, but again, we could be wrong. And so this is the hardest part of trading. And so this is where you have to have, I don't know if any of you guys ever like coached like a team, like a sports team. Like, you have to be able to adjust to what the other team is doing, right? Mentally, you have a game plan. I'm going long. Well, what if long is not working? Do you stick to your game plan and just not adjust? No, you get crushed. The other team's going to whoop your ass. The best way to describe the mentality, I've always loved Bruce Lee, just be like water. Flow. Try to go with the flow. When you're not going with the flow, it's hard. But sometimes you have to be aware short term, it's noise. And so if you're trying to squeeze every penny in straight lines, note to self. It just doesn't work like that, right? Big green pulls back. High volume. All right, here's another little tip for you folks. High volume candles, wicks are very important. Very important. High volume candles, wicks, I'm saying it again, are very important. They're extremes, right? Somebody probably got knocked right there. Market makers know this. So keep that in mind. Whenever you're looking on the date, any candle. Here, let's go try to find an example on the daily, because you'll see this shit and it'll just boggle your mind. So here's the high candle volume day. I'm still there. So 420. Oh, that's funny. Look at this candle and notice that when you draw a cross on it, it closed there, went below it, came right back above it. Interesting, right? Did that multiple times, then went higher. Then you look over to the left or right, it got really choppy up there. Becomes almost support resistance there. Notice, if I remember right, yeah, the 420 area was the confirmation of the breakout. High volume. Now notice down here, right, you got all of this volume. Is this area going to confluence again and act like a tractor beam on a pullback? You bet your ass it will. That's why, I mean, again, when the market pulls back, I mean, you could probably draw this box. I mean, I'd be watching this 380, 370, this box here. I know that seems wide, but that's where most of the volume is going to flush out at, right? Oops, sorry. That's where all the liquidity is. And if you're a liquidity mechanism, why wouldn't you test there? We're still there. What are we still there about, Danny? What's your question? Boyle has a reverse split today. Really? Did it? I don't. I can't read it. It's really that small. Isn't Boyle the ultra long natural gas? Yeah. Man, you thought the TLT was a bitch. Or sorry, UNG. I mean, I can't even. Let me vertically open it. Ugh. Oh, is it painful? Stretching it. There we go. I mean, it's probably going to get wild again. This is the thing about some of these ETFs. Some of the best things to do is to sell options on these things. Yeah, didn't Boyle have yeah, here was a split, right? That was, I guess, June. Again, I would not be buying natural gas at this point. A lot of people don't like to hear that. Again, I just struggle with commodities because you're parking your money in something that I don't think is going to go anywhere but sideways with the risk of getting absolutely slammed. But if you disappear for 2 years, you'll probably be happy. So however the hell you want to manage that, go right ahead. I'd personally just wait. Right? Like, we love ag. Everybody's got to eat. Talked about a little bit of capitulation bottom down here. Said you probably get some rise up. Said wouldn't be surprised if you hit someone in the 80s. Now, could we retest and then go down? I don't know. But do I want to buy these names and hold them knowing they could come right back down to 60? Now, if you bought at 60 and you didn't take any profits, are you going to be butthurt when it retests? I hope not. Like, I like Alcoa. We like aluminum. This is what scares me. This is what can happen. And it could get ugly as shit. VALE. Like, VALE could be down at $8. Could go south. Thanks for the chat, Dan. Have to peace out. Yep. No problem, boys, girls, friends. I mean, I just would not be surprised. But here's the thing. Like, I'm trying to think. Is there any headlines, briefing? Xcel Energy confirms. Just trying to see if there's anything going on in the headlines here. Because this is what happens a lot during OPEX. Y'all probably for me, it's like a never-ending, I would consider like just headline risk. Bonds crash, then stocks crash, then employment crashes, then housing crashes, and the Fed starts easing. I think I got that right. That's what Jack at Alpha Charts is saying. I think stocks crash, unemployment rises, housing's already crashing, bonds are bottoming. In my opinion, because again, money has to rotate. It's not like it's destroyed. Like if someone is selling stocks, they have capital. They have to put it somewhere. That's where, again, as much as I think government bonds might be crap, and I could be wrong on this. I could absolutely be wrong. That's where you have to be in your mind. You could be wrong. People want stability at some point, right? They'll take their 5, 6, 7, 8%, whatever bond issuance is, and they'll say, I'm good. I'm good, dog. Just keep that in mind. Don't forget that. I'm good. So that's what people want to do. And yeah, I like that Tesla buy at 222. That makes sense. Glad you didn't bring a ruler to trading. Some people are like, I mean, you might get the 100-day at some point. I'd be prepared for it. But maybe not today. Maybe next week. Maybe next month, I guess. Apple, fruit, again, hanging out. SMH is green. Caterpillar trying to rally. I mean, this is another name that I'd hope to see that goes nowhere. Again, I'd be watching hard for the SPY and the XLF to hold. 250-day cross. Like, I doubt we collapse. Unless we get the bank down. I mean, again, that rumor of a bank downgrade, it's like, how many times they want to say it? Okay. Man, I can't believe letter X is getting bought out at this point in the cycle. You got to be an idiot to buy them, in my opinion. But here's the thing, though. Think about the timing of this, right? ExxonMobil's really bad about buying energy companies at inflection points because they're feeling pretty rich. I don't know why commodity companies would be trying to buy X at this moment, unless they got some sort of technology I don't know shit about. Doesn't make sense. Just kind of floating through some of these other names. Freeport, what's that at? Due to bounce. Cliff was talking about buying them. I doubt. Yeah, I was going to say they're probably going to give back all that gain. Yeah, Southern Copper. Yeah, I mean, I think commodities will get beaten here. I just think they will. Housing. Oh, sorry, materials. Holding up. Housing. Solar got beat up. Of course solar got beat up. Especially First Solar. Man, these housing stocks. Whew. I mean, this box is breaking. Do we back test it? Then we go. Another like 20-day touch. 20-day touch. 20-day touch. The 20-day, I don't know, lambada. I guess you could. This one's hard. Yeah. Yeah, First Solar. I mean, this is the thing. Again, I'll toot my own horn when needed and also take the humility pills, but tried to warn them, like, this stuff is going to get absolutely fucking crushed. First Solar, you got plenty of room to go down. All right, we're about on an hour. Lunch special's over. What is it? It's going to be 1 o'clock soon. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Anything I can do to help? You know what? Yeah. Blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while. I mean, I just thought this was too obvious that they would hold it, rally it, and then beat it. And you can argue, people were saying this, like, how did you know this? And I'm like, well, I mean, my guess was this might be some sort of shampoo formation. If you don't know what shampoo is, it's what I joke is a head and shoulders formation. Feels very, and then this is the thing about head and shoulders, now you can see it better now, is that sometimes the shoulders don't have to be equal. That's what fucks people up, because they go, well, it went above, what was it? It went above 211, 210, shoulders invalidated. Okay. If that's what you want to believe, I guess, yeah. Yeah, SPY's building, it looks like. It looks like it's building the lunch base. You had the pop. Now you've got the pop ripped back, holding 440-ish. Keep an eye. Keep an eye on this. Again, I would not be surprised if we close the day at 441s, 442s. Maybe dip back in the AM tomorrow and do the same thing over. And then close like even stronger, maybe on a Friday. Because remember, it's all about what? It's not all about the base. It's all about destroying the VIX. Right? That's all I can really say. All right, I'm going to let it run. You guys have a great afternoon. Don't overthink this. I'm telling you, if you're short, manage your trades. If you're going long, be thoughtful. If you don't want to do anything, take the rest of the week off. Trust me, there'll be better opportunities. Wait for the 20-day touch on the SPY. If you really want to jump into some shorts and really do it, I think the curling down 20-day. I don't know what day that's going to be, but you know I'll be saying it in every daily review. So take a note of that. Have it in your journal. All right, y'all. Have a great one. Peace.